a nice step up for the Charge series. Fitbit Charge 5 Advanced Fitness Health Tracker with built-in GPS, stress management tools, sleep tracking, 247 heart rate and more. Black Graphite. This product is sold by Fitbit. Optimize your workout routine with a daily readiness score that reveals if you're ready to exercise or should focus on recovery. Requires Fitbit Premium membership. Band size, small fits wrist 5.16, 7 in circumference. Large fits wrist 6.78, 3 in circumference. Get a daily stress management score showing your body's response to stress and take steps to improve your levels within a wrist sensor mindfulness session. With the Health Metrics dashboard, track spot heart rate variability, skin temperature variation, and more. Not intended to diagnose or treat any medical condition, and should not be relied on for any medical purposes. It is intended to provide information that can help you manage your well-being. See your real-time pace distance without your phone using built-in GPS during outdoor activity. Then, see a map of your workout route in the Fitbit app. Includes a 6-month premium membership complete with personalized insights, advanced analytics, guided programs, and more. New returning premium users only. Valid payment method required. Content and features may change. Your stats come to life on a new color touchscreen that's 2 times brighter than Charge 4 in daylight, all with up to 7-day battery. Varies with use and other factors. Track calorie burn and optimize workouts with 247 heart rate tracking and active zone minutes, which guide you toward your desired intensity level. Get a better understanding of your sleep quality with a daily sleep score and graphs of your time in light deep. Use the 20 exercise modes to set personal goals for runs, rides, strength training, and more. Then get real-time stats to help you keep the pace or maintain your target heart rate zone. 4.3 out of 5 stars. This item has a total of 29,497 reviews. Product linked in the description below. The first comment is from Ed. A nice step up for the Charge series. 4.0 out of 5 stars. Update May 2022. I'm still a big fan of this product and have made a few updates to my initial reviews, but the bottom line is that it's held up to initial impressions. I ended up knocking off a star just because there are a few improvements that can be made, but it's still very solid. I purchased the Fitbit Charge 5 as an upgrade from my Charge 3. I skipped the Charge 4 since I didn't really want the new features of that model, but the allure of a color display with the same lengthy, week-long battery life was enough to make me upgrade to the Charge 5. I won't cover all the features of the Charge 5 since there are plenty of other places that go into great detail, and I may update this review after I get more use out of it. Who should buy a Fitbit Charge? The Fitbit Charge is great if your primary use is as a lightweight fitness tracker. I prefer the Fitbit Charge over the Apple Watch and other smartwatches due to its lightweight nature, week-long battery life, and my lack of need for fancier smartwatch functionality. If you like the extra bells whistles of a smartwatch and don't mind a heavier watch that needs to be charged every day or 3, then you may want to skip the Fitbit Charge. Also, if you're a die-hard Apple user who needs integration with the Apple Health app, is it worth upgrading from the Charge 34? It mainly depends on how much you value a better color display. The MSRP on a Charge 5 is $180 though. I'm sure the sale price will drop during the holiday season, while the MSRP on a Charge 4 is $150 though. At this point, everyone's selling the Charge 4 and 3 well below MSRP, especially if you buy refurbished. Impressions: initial setup was fairly smooth. I had to connect it to the charger to get it started up. Transitioning from my Charge 3 to the Charge 5 in the app was easy enough. There was a firmware update. Notice the firmware enables the ETA sensor, and that update was a little buggy, required a few attempts before it succeeded. At one point, I needed to reboot my Fitbit. ECG monitor became available via firmware update 1 million. I had some connection issues while trying to run it, but got it to work eventually. I don't have any arrhythmia issues, so while it's a nifty feature, it's ultimately useless for me. The daily readiness score also became available 1,192,021. It's only available for premium subscribers. It takes 4 days before it starts functioning, a couple weeks to tune. Overall, I'd say this is not terribly useful. If you work out on a consistent basis, get a decent amount of sleep. That is, you'll remain in the good to excellent range, 30 above. For reference, I typically work out 45 days a week, spending 3,040 min on cardio, 3,040 min on weights, which ends up being 110,160 zone minutes on those days when combined with whatever other zone minutes I rack up when not working out. But if you take a week off or so, return to working out. I also noticed that if you forget to wear your Fitbit to bed, it can throw off your score. It sent my score plummeting for no good reason otherwise. Also, perhaps not surprisingly, the readiness score seems to be primarily reflective of your cardio workout. It will classify my activity as light on some days when I spend a fair amount of time on weight training that doesn't really sustain an elevated heart rate, and less on cardio. There's no longer a home button on the side of the display to return or access additional menus. This took a little time to adjust to, but I'm generally okay with it, especially since the touch screen is noticeably more responsive than the Charge 3. Now, you must swipe right to return to the prior screen, and you can also double tap in most cases to return to the home screen, though the double tap can be finicky. Would I prefer to have a home button again? Yes. Now, the sides of the device used for the ETA sensor ECG monitor. The display is much better than the Charge 34, brighter with much higher resolution, and of course color. The display has 3 brightness settings. However, the difference between dim, normal, and max is rather subtle. They're all pretty bright, and this is unfortunate because it's a little too bright for dark rooms in my opinion. I like the dim, auto, and normal settings on my Charge 3 much better. Hopefully, this is something that will be fixed in a future firmware update, assuming the Charge 5 still has the sensor that allows for an auto setting. The up to 7 days battery life is not a lie. The battery life lasts me about a week with my brightness set to normal, which is the same as my old Charge 3. I do not use the built-in GPS nor the always-on display, both of which are significant drains on the battery, but I do average 68 hours a week of active exercise time. And since the dim brightness setting is bright enough for me, I use it all the time, which translates to even better battery life. Pretty amazing considering the brighter color display. The Charge 5 does a better job of automatically turning the display on at the turn of the wrist. My Charge 3 wouldn't always turn on or would require me to turn my wrist more than what felt natural. The Apple Watch is still superior with regard to automatically turning on when looking. The wristband that's included is a nicer feeling silicone material instead of the plastic one that came with the Charge 34. The small strap on the Charge 5 band is also smaller than the small on the Charge 34. On the Charge 5, I use the last or next to last notch on the band I. The strap is basically at its largest, most expanded size, but with the Charge 3 strap, I still had 3 or 4 empty notches to work with. Not a big deal since they include small large bands, but something to consider if you purchase additional bands. I did end up purchasing the Sport Band, which does have more notches to work with. Be sure to use Fitbit's sizing tool on their website before purchasing extra wristbands, since they do vary based on which one you get. The heart rate monitoring is nice accurate, like the Charge 3. I run on a treadmill with a Ticker X First Gen chest strap. It's less accurate when doing sprint since it tends to lag behind the ticker X, but it's still in the ballpark, albeit delayed. The EDIS sensor seems like a waste for me. Along the lines of the guided breathing exercises in the Charge 3, it's just something that I don't care to use, and I question its accuracy validity anyway. I'm not sure if this was introduced with the Charge 4, but there's a daily stress management score now. The number seems fairly meaningless, since it's somewhat of a mystery as to how it's calculated. Yes, Fitbit tells you what the general parameters are: heart rate, sleep activity. Premium members get to see how the subscores feed into the overall score, see below, but in the end it just seems pretty meaningless to me. I think this may have changed with the Charge 4, but it no longer tracks the number of floors you've climbed. No big deal, as it was wildly inaccurate, and it counts active zone minutes instead of active minutes now. Fitbit's website has more details on active minutes versus active zone minutes. There's 23 clock faces to choose from. Most of them only display one stat, e.g., HR steps, etc. At a time, though. You can usually cycle through them all by tapping the screen, which is unfortunate. Hopefully they'll add more detailed clock faces, but overall it's nice to see them making use of the colorful, higher resolution display. The charging cable functions a lot better since it magnetically clips to the Fitbit like an Apple Watch does to its charger. I believe it's the same charging cable as the Fitbit Lux. My Charge 5 somewhat regularly, once every day or two, has trouble syncing with the app. It has gotten better over time, usually just requires me to refresh the app by dragging down at the top of the screen of the phone app. At worst, I'll need to restart the app, and once I had to restart my Fitbit device itself. Overall, not a big deal, just an occasional annoyance. Fitbit Premium membership. I generally dislike paying for subscriptions since the cost of them can add up to something pretty substantial over time. The Fitbit Premium membership isn't exactly cheap at 10 months, or I tired, though you get 6 months for free with the purchase of your Charge 5. If you actually use many of its features, then it may be worthwhile, but for me it isn't. I won't be paying for membership when my free trial runs out in a week or so. The Daily Readiness Score Health Metrics dashboard are the only premium features I routinely looked at, but I question their overall usefulness practicality. Here's a rundown of what you get for your money. Daily Readiness Score. See comments above in Impressions section. In short, not terribly useful. Health Metrics dashboard. See attached pic. Graphs data for breathing rate, heart rate variability, HRV, skin temperature, oxygen saturation, spot resting heart rate, RHR. The RHR data is already available for non-premium users. You can view your most recent spot reading on the device, but the rest of the stats appear to only be available to premium members. The graphs are actually kinda crummy. There's two types. One graph allows you to vary the time scale to view 730 or 90 days, but you have to visually line up the dot with the values on the y-axis to determine the actual reading for each dot. And another type of graph shows 7 days at a time with individual readings on the graph. It would be a lot nicer if they made these graphs larger, interactive, so you could change the time scale on the fly. Tap on the data points to see the reading. Wellness report. You can generate a PDF wellness report to be emailed. While it provides a summary of HR, weight, activity, sleep trends over the course of 1, 3, 6, 12 months, it's lame that you can't just view this directly in the app. Stress management score details. See attached pic. Extra details on your score, including the subscores that feed into it: responsiveness, exertion balance, sleep patterns. Still not sure how meaningful any of this is. Sleep score details. See attached pic. There's a different detailed view of your sleep score. You get subscores for time asleep, deep, and REM and restoration. But I believe all the graphs are the same for non-premium users, so I'm not sure that this offers much more insight that the non-premium view does. I suppose you get to see how much each subscore accounts. Instructional stuff, games challenges. You can participate in various fitness game challenges, which might motivate you to work out more. Overall, I think the Charge 5 is a nice upgrade from my beloved Charge 3, and for me it was worth paying the extra bucks. From the manufacturer previous page, next page, Fitbit collection Charge 5 Sense Versa 3 Versa 2 Lux Charge 4 Inspire 2 Battery life in days up to 7 6 6 6 up to 5 7 up to 10 water resistance 15 tracks activity sleep. It all starts with your 6-month premium membership and daily readiness, a score based on activity, sleep, and you'll always have motivation to reach new goals with hundreds of guided workouts, a gallery of refreshing mindfulness sessions, plus the fitness features you know and love like active zone minutes and built-in GPS. Fitbit is part of the Google family. Requires use of Fitbit app with compatible iPhone. A Google account will be required. Product linked in the description below. Our first question is from S. Martin. What happens when the membership runs out? Will you still be able to get the numbers, or do you have to have the membership? Per Amazon review I saw under most helpful negative review, if you have no plans on paying for the Fitbit premium subscription, then do not buy this, as they are very careful not to tell you that half the features of the watch don't work without it. The health metrics dashboard is part of the subscription, so without see more per Amazon review I saw under most helpful negative review. If you have no plans on paying for the Fitbit premium subscription, then do not buy this, as they are very careful not to tell you that half the features of the watch don't work without it. The health metrics dashboard is part of the subscription, so without that you don't get spot wall monitoring, heart rate variability, skin temperature variation, breathing rate during sleep, or 14 out of the supposed 20 exercise routines. There is more outside of the withheld features, like not being able to turn off. Options are dynamic, using bits built into the watch and just your phone. See less. Product linked in the description below. For more content like this, please subscribe and click the bell icon so you are notified of new uploads. We upload new videos every day. See you next time.